Hey, sports history fans, this is Ariel Gonzalez from Wrestling with Heels On. Hey, when you go to a sporting event, you don't go there to be meek and mild, unless you live in Japan. You go there to get freaking wild. That means bringing some attitude to your amplitude. How do you do that? You get Racket. R-A-K-I-T. Racket combines a compact 7-inch megaphone, 8 powerful adjustable LED lights, noisemakers, an insert you design, and it's all fully customizable to match your team's colors. Now here's the coolest thing about this product. J.J. Abraham, the founder, was the ultimate cheer dad. He followed his daughter's cheer group around the country, and he saw parents struggling using all sorts of crazy contraptions to make some noise for their kids. And then he had an aha moment. He thought, wait, why not combine all of these doodads into an all-in-one compact device for the ultimate fan? JJ and his team worked 3 years on developing version after version after version until they finally landed on Racket, R-A-K-I-T, so you can make some noise and cheer and be a part of the action. So get out there and let's get loud. Bring a racket to your next game or competition to cheer on your favorite team or athlete. You can customize your racket with your own logos, drawings, and names. Get beads to match your team's colors. Flashing lights add to the excitement. Are you ready to make a racket? Be part of the game. Each racket pack comes with 1 racket megaphone, 1 lanyard to keep a hold of the thing, 2 scratch-resistant bead packs, 1 clear and 1 color of your choice, and a 10-pack of customizable self-adhesive inserts. Currently on sale, wait for it, $24.99. To pick up your racket today, head to myracket.com. That's myraket.com. Now get out there and make some noise.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Now, live and direct from the press box at Old Comiskey Park, it's time for When Football Was Football. Let's join your host, Joe Ziemba, with another forgotten tale from Chicago's pro football history. Let's go!
Thank you for joining us once again from the press box at Old Comiskey Park as we continue our coverage of the 1947 Chicago Cardinals championship race. How does a team adequately prepare itself for an NFL title game? Even more so, how does the club prepare itself for the biggest game of the season when the name of the opposition is not yet known? Such was the case for the Chicago Cardinals 75 years ago today, on December 18, 1947, as the winners of the Western Division of the National Football League, after a stirring 31-20 win over the Chicago Bears, the Cardinals were forced into an idle period of 2 weeks due to the Eastern Division winner of the NFL still needing to be determined. Both the Eagles and the Steelers finished the 1947 regular season with identical 8-4 records to conclude the campaign atop the Eastern Division. A 1-game playoff between the two clubs was then scheduled for Sunday, December 21st, to determine the outright champion in the East. The winner would then travel to Chicago on December 28th to face the Cardinals for the NFL crown. Meanwhile, the Cardinals endured their mini layoff with some rugged practices under coach Jimmy Councilman. Despite not knowing the opponent until the Eastern Division playoff game was completed, Councilman wanted to keep his players' minds as well as their bodies in game-ready condition. The Associated Press noted, Jimmy Councilman is faced with the task of keeping the Cardinals fired up while awaiting the outcome of the Eagle-Steeler playoff. Councilman added, this holiday season, don't interpret it too literally. Holidays don't mean us. It's going to be work, and plenty of it. On the plus side, the time off would provide the opportunity for some of the Cardinals' walking wounded to heal before the championship game. Reliable defensive end Frank Ivy suffered a separated shoulder during the Bears game, and the club was already without lineman Caleb Martin from a season-ending injury suffered earlier. In addition, guard Gerard Ramsey and end Clarence Esser were also nursing injuries. Some good news reached the Cards camp on December 18th when the NFL announced that fullback/kicker Pat Harder topped the league in scoring for 1947. Harder, a graduate of Wisconsin, tallied 102 points via 7 touchdowns, 7 field goals, and 39 extra points. Harder missed only 1 PAT throughout the season, and his total of 102 was the 4th highest in the history of the NFL. And all this was accomplished despite Harder missing 2 games during the season. Meanwhile, East contenders Pittsburgh and Philadelphia were busy during this week 75 years ago and anxiously awaiting their winner-take-all match on December 21st. The Eagles had knocked off the Packers 28-14 on December 14th to force the deadlock, and Philadelphia coach Greasy Neal remained confident in his charges, stating, "If we play like we did against Green Bay, there isn't anyone going to beat us." On the other side of the state of Pennsylvania, Steelers coach Jock Sutherland was happy with the prospect of his favored single-wing attack doing some damage to the Philadelphia defense. He was, however, concerned with the status of star passer Johnny Clement, who had suffered a dislocated elbow 3 weeks earlier. Clement declared that he was ready for the Eagles. With the help of a specially designed brace, he said, "I'll be there from the start. The Eagles are pretty decent, and I don't look for anyone to bang my elbow. But they're hustlers, and it's going to be a tough game." Coach Sutherland was eager for Clement to play, but cautious about the circumstances, saying, "We don't want everybody thinking about his elbow, and that goes for the Philadelphia team." Well, the two teams had split 2 games during the regular season, with the Steelers winning in Pittsburgh 35-24, and the Eagles then grabbing some revenge with a 21-0 home victory in Philadelphia. The title game would, however, be staged in Pittsburgh, with both clubs looking for their first divisional crown in a battle between the Steelers' single wing and the Eagles' T formation. Back in Chicago, the Cardinals toiled on the practice field, but without the stress of an imminent contest. An article appeared on the wire services outlining the reasons for the rapid rise of the Cardinals in the NFL. Reporter Charles Einstein traced the success of the Cards to a win over the Bears in the 1946 season finale at Wrigley Field. With only seconds remaining in the game, the score was deadlocked at 28-28, and the Cardinals were poised for a game-winning field goal, at least in the mind of coach Jimmy Councilman. Councilman waved his arms as he ran down the sideline and began kicking wildly with his foot like, in quotes, an adagio dancer, according to Einstein. Quarterback Paul Chrisman of the Cardinals noticed the flailing Councilman and said to his teammates in the huddle, "Well, it looks like the old man wants a field goal." Well, someone else said, "Let's pass it instead," before a third player added, "Whatever you do, just nod yes at Jimmy. That foot of his gives me the willies." Chrisman then nodded yes to Councilman, indicating that he understood the demand for a field goal try. However, instead of taking the easy field goal, Chrisman decided to toss a 5-yard scoring pass to Mel Kuttner with just 14 seconds left in the game, giving the Cardinals a 35-28 win, a 6-5 record for 1946, and their first winning campaign in 11 seasons. Well, we'll let writer Charles Einstein pick up the story from there, following the surprise touchdown pass. They threw water on Councilman to revive him. Driving away from the ballpark in a cab, Councilman, his white mane askew and a glazed look in his eye, whispered strange nothings about his football team, saying, "That ball club," meaning the Cardinals, "can win the title next year." Well, somebody said, "Yeah, Jimmy, but how?" "How?" Councilman roared. "How do I know how? I'm only the coach." Events were to prove him right in every respect. And so, 75 years ago today, the Cardinals were indeed on the cusp of the NFL title, if the team only knew who it would be playing. Thank you for joining us for this special bonus episode of When Football Was Football here on the Sports History Network. Please join us again on December 21st, for the next program focusing on the 1947 Cardinals NFL title chase. Such was the case for the Chicago Cardinals 75 years ago today on December 18, 1947, as the winners of the Western Division of the National Football League, after a stirring 30-21 win over the Chicago Bears, the Cardinals were forced into an idle period of 2 weeks due to the Eastern Division winner of the NFL still needing to be determined.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.